Who are the 17%? Who are they? Who the hell are the 17%? Anybody in here from the 17%? Don't raise your hand, it may be dangerous.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
Get comfy, no, get ready for war. They started it all, but now it's time to settle the score. New recruits, join us where the veterans are. Lace your boots, prepare to earn medals and stars. Information warfare, they want control of your mind. They dumb you down, it's easy to take control of the blind. Question the narrative, you never know what you'll find. We can always see the evil cause we know it's designed. The old guard's collapsing, we're here to watch it happen. Enough of the build-up, we're ready for the action. The part of the movie where we understand the acting as we look around the room at each other's reactions. Horrifying evil rising up to the surface. Demons in the ether realizing that they're worthless. NPCs walk amongst us without a purpose. They know the time's up and see that it wasn't worth it. Brainstorm family, holding it down. They control the narrative, but we're controlling it now. It's like 1984 when they're controlling the crowd. We break the matrix into pieces that we burn to the ground. Together we are the phoenix rising from the ashes, tearing down the system and laughing as it crashes. Brutalize the deep state and give them 50 lashes. Cause we are slaves and these people are our masters. We go to war for our families, do it for the kids. It shouldn't be this way, but that's just the way it is. We bring truth to y'all until there's nothing left to give. We give demons no authority to tell us how to live. This is our world and our job is taking it back. These are our girls and our boys are under attack. Social engineering, every step is a trap. We teach you how to navigate through every step of the map. Stormy J coming at you live, finding all the truth as they rummage through the lies. Patriots united while this evil's on the rise. Lift the veil on the system and see through the disguise. This is our time to shine. These are our minds combined. Society has declined. Realign in the design. Realize your mind has been attacked and been assigned to be a vessel of the indoctrination that you try. In the matrix we're breaking, utter devastation and destruction to every single move that they're making. The ground is shaking, breaking from the anticipation of the moment that we capture back the soul of the nation. Demonstration, bringing back the bases, manifestations ready for the revelation of this evil that we're facing. Agents of the matrix making power moves and races. Full armor of God and we're coming for you, Satan.
Good evening, Brainstorm fams. Nice to see everyone. Happy, is it Thursday or Tuesday? It's been a whole week and 2 days, I'm telling you.
Right.
It's been a long time since I've been in research mode like I have been tonight. It's been so much fun. But anyway, we have Testimony Tuesday, so
Tuesday. Yes, we do.
It's a weird
Amy
short week.
will be giving her testimony tonight.
Awesome.
If you have any prayer requests, put them in the chat and I will write them down. I've got several from people in our family. Krista called me right before the show and said that they had, which didn't sound good, but I mean, you never know. They had a couple of ambulances and police trucks. I think that's what she said at her work today. So they were there for quite a while. She asked me to pray for someone. I've got the name written down. I'm not going to say it out loud because
You
I got
got it.
his name written down. But this heat has been so hard on a lot of people. And even at our house, like we don't have anything but window units and it's just not keeping up. It's not at all. So I feel bad for those that work out in it.
Yeah, there's a famous prophecy about the heat of summer. Is there not?
Yeah, there is.
Strange July. Strange July.
Strange July for sure. Right off the bat.
SCOTUS has pretty much neutralized non-government agencies. Supported Trump and pretty much pointed an arrow right at previous presidents, as well as supported your Second Amendment. The only questionable one, they haven't really supported your First Amendment, but they did not not support it, they just send it back to the lower courts to figure out what social media accounts have the right to do and what they don't have the right to do. Pretty much slapped their hands, said, do your job.
Yeah.
Also told Congress, slapped their hands, said, do your job. The ball's in your court. Denise, thank you for the Rumble rant. This place to be, friends. Grateful for every one of you. Much love. Thank you, Denise. Sorry, I'm going to get off my soapbox because it's Testimony Tuesday.
I have to do something because I know I missed people in Telegram, but I have to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday on my birthday. That was amazing to just.
How's it feel to finally be 30?
What do you mean 30? 29.
Oh, 29. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think we took a picture of it. I was going to holler at Matt to see if he had the candles. Mimi put 29 on the cupcakes that they got.
Nice.
So it was fun. It was fun. Even though nobody felt very well this weekend, we still made that fun. So it's been a weekend, I'll tell you.
Man.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Wendy. I love you all too. So much. Y'all mean so much to me. You just never know. You'll never know.
So we definitely have an original fam here.
Mm-hmm. So if we don't have any more prayer requests, I didn't see any. Looking real quick. Saturday was.
Saturday, right?
Saturday? Yeah, Saturday.
29th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Oh.
Thank you. So I've already anointed my hands. I have our prayer book here with added stuff. Jimmy, you're in our prayer book. I added what we talked about earlier. Honey is in there. She's got some stuff, some tests and stuff going on. Steph, I talked to her before the show. Oh.
She's in here somewhere.
Okay. I'll remember. Okay. So I'm ready. Father, we thank you for this day and everything you've given us. We thank you for bringing us together again. I ask that you place a hedge of protection around each and every one of us. I pray over our prayer list that is ever growing. But we also have wonderful praise reports at the same time. And we thank you for the things that you're doing, even when we don't realize what you're doing. I pray for healing for those that need healing. I pray for a sound mind for those that have struggles with depression or anxiety. I pray for those that are dealing with financial difficulties that you provide for them, Father. Pray for our children. So many things, Father, that are going on around the kids. It's so hard, and we just don't understand, but we know that you've got your hand over them, and we know that you've got your angels encamped around them. And I pray for our nation. I pray for our leaders, that you guide, protect, and lead them. Let them do your will, Father. Let them do what your will says. I thank you. I give you all the glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Oh, that's okay, Steph. Thank you. So, Amy.
That would be me.
How are you?
I'm good.
I know that. I know that sigh.
Yeah, it's been a ride. This has definitely been a ride. Yeah, I don't know. See,
So, I, you gave your testimony on LNK.
hmm
Do you want to start in the same place, or do you want to start somewhere else? Because I kind of jumped all around.
I think I could give the Reader's Digest version, um, of the LNK episode. Um, in my opinion, it's nothing fancy, nothing.
Whatever. Tell a car one. Tell your car testimony. The wreck.
Oh, okay. You can't tell Lori's heard this before, guys. How can you? Well,
We're besties.
um,
I mean,
yeah. As a joke, I was born. Um, that's our joke. Not me being born is not a joke. No. Um, Anywho, so I was born up in New York on Long Island, um,
if
and
you
had a
can't
real
tell.
childhood. I am a proud Gen Xer. Um, I'm the oldest of three. My brother is 3 years, 3.5 years behind me, and my sister is 7 years behind me. My parents have been married for, this is 2024, so they've been married for
Ever.
54 years. Yes, and I mean, I'm very thankful.
Right.
Thanks, Ray. I was very blessed to be raised in a Christian home. Um, I grew up in church. I got saved when I was 5. Um, Water baptized a couple years later. I guess I don't remember the first time I got water baptized.
Oh.
And yes, it does suck being the oldest, also known as the guinea pig. Um, you're always the tester.
It's
Um,
true.
yeah, I can't deny it because I did it to my daughter. She's the oldest too, so oops, you know. But anyhow, when I was 19, um, we moved to we moved to South Carolina. I remember it was about a couple months after I had graduated high school. Up in New York, we graduated the end of June. Yeah. We graduated on the end of June. So about this time, I don't want to figure out how many years ago, my parents pulled the three of us together and said, "We're moving to South Carolina." And the first words out of my mouth were, "Where?" See, in the good old New York education system, they didn't teach US geography. So I didn't know where South Carolina was. If it was outside of the tri state area, New York, Connecticut, Jersey, and PA, I didn't know where it was. I knew where California was and Florida because I had grandparents in Florida. But beyond that, they were all out there somewhere, you know. So my parents told us, we're moving to South Carolina. We said, where and how in the world did you find wherever that is? And thank you, Loaded. So
I
once
knew
I
she'd
finally found a map and looked up to see where it was, we turns out we were about 18 hours due south. I knew nothing of the South. I didn't know anybody from the South. My South was Florida, where my grandparents lived, and that was it. And it was really just another version of Long Island where they lived because everybody from where they lived was from back home. But we moved down here, and I basically moved to another planet. Um, so they, I think the only way I could get more different from Long Island to South Carolina is what my husband did, California to South Carolina. I think that's more. That's the only, especially nowadays. Um, but that's the only other thing. Um, Came down here, went to college for a little bit. Discovered how expensive college was when, man, this is back in the early 90s. Um, back when your parents aren't paying for it. Because, I mean, my parents were of the generation you want it, you're paying for it. The car, the college, the everything. And I don't fault them for it one bit. You appreciate more when you go buy it yourself. Um, so I think I lasted a couple semesters in college before I realized, and this is with the Pell Grant, this stuff's expensive. So I stopped going, and I wasn't really interested anyway. I was just, I had just moved down halfway down the country and didn't know anything about who I was. I was the good. I had been described as the goody two shoes little church girl. I I lived in a bubble. I lived in that bubble for the next 20 plus years after that. Um, we moved south. When I told my then boyfriend we were moving south, he said, okay, I'll come. Okay, whatever. So he was going to grad school at the time. So he went and transferred to a nearby university here and completed his grad degree. And then we had some I wound up moving back up to New York for a little bit for some work and then came back down. Well, while I was back up in New York, he had a lot of issues with anxiety, severe anxiety issues. I can remember talking him out of panic attacks from Long Island. He told me he was literally curled up in the fetal position in the back of his closet because he was stressing about school and all kinds of things. And I didn't know anything about anxiety attacks. You know, I didn't know anyone who dealt with that. Um, and I can remember talking him down, you're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, no, Denise, they are not. And I have several family members that suffer from anxiety, and I've seen firsthand. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. I thank God that I don't have to that I don't deal with it. Um, you know, but about 2 months before I moved down here, my boyfriend went a little over anxiety ridden after his final exam of his final class for his degree, and sat in the back of his car in the university parking lot and decided to get drunk. Um so he got drunk and wasted, and there was this chick in his class that decided she wanted him instead of me. Well, he was drunk off his gourd and decided it's a good idea. Amy's in New York. She'll never find out. And I don't want to know with her, but he wasn't faithful to me. Well, here comes a little girl in the bubble, moves down to South Carolina. I had a promise ring from this guy. According to everything I had ever been raised in, that means marriage. You're getting married, you're going to live happily ever after. We're going to have 2.5 kids, a cat and a dog, the swing set, the whole dream. But he broke that. And that's where I learned and he actually broke it himself because and now he was saved. He was a Christian. So he was a good guy. We'd been together for 2.5, 3 years at that point. But that changed something huge in me. It was the first time my trust level had ever been broken. And I know there's probably not a person in this chat room that hasn't had their trust level broken at one point or another. I'd be shocked to find somebody on earth over the age of 5 But that was huge for me. I had shifted to being a completely trusting person in a bubble to not trusting anyone, anybody, not just my boyfriend, but no one got trusted anymore. And then in regards to my boyfriend, I turned into a horrible, evil, manipulative witch with capital B. I was an absolute horrible person to him. Years later, I apologized. I should say decades later, I apologized, to him because it was later on. It took a long time. It took actually a good 5, 6 years into my marriage to my husband, who's not the boyfriend. We ended up breaking up. I got miserable in the relationship, and I knew I wasn't going anywhere. I knew my walk wasn't going anywhere. I knew, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't have been shocked if God said, "Hey, by the way, you've been going backwards for the last 2.5 years." Wouldn't have shocked me. So I finally said, "Okay, God, I'll do whatever I need to do to start going forward again." Oh, did I freeze?
You're fine.
Am I-
You're good.
Okay. I'm getting used to a new computer, guys, so things are not where I'm used to. And the color scheme just changed on me, so it freaked me out a little. But anyhow, you know, so so I spent the next 2.5 years of that relationship after the incident manipulating him. Stories, Beth.
Stormy.
My bad.
Yeah.
And and it eventually made me miserable enough to where I decided I had to change. And I said, "All right, God, whatever. I have to change. I'll do whatever you want." So he said, "Okay, break up with him." You said anything. Okay. Huh. Well, I have only maybe I should rewind a little bit because of the way I was raised. My dad and I'm a daddy's girl through and through. And my relationship with my heavenly father is very similar to my relationship with my earthly father. My dad's one of my best friends. I'm very thankful. He showed me how men are supposed to treat women. He showed
Yeah.
me, what a marriage looks like. All the textbook good examples. My parents were that, you know. So I always had a very, I don't want to say casual, but a very, I don't know exact, not casual, but almost like a friendly kind of, not a person, guy on a pedestal kind of relationship with God. It was just, it's almost like he was, it's just another guy. But I mean, obviously not. He's the creator of the universe. There is some reverence and respect there. But I never did the thee thy thous and the cross yourself 4 times and do this rosary bead and that. I didn't see the point. It's always been a relationship. It's never been a religion.
Yeah.
So God says, "Go ahead, break up with him." I was like, What? Are you serious?" And he told me, he said, "You said anything. If you meant it, break up with him." Hmm. So a lot of hemming and hawing and arguing with the creator of the universe. I did eventually break up with him. Um, 3 days later, I met my husband at a home group meeting, ironically at my parents' house, with my then ex-boyfriend sitting in the same room. It was really weird. It was really weird. He's sitting on one side of my ex-boyfriend sitting on one side of the room, and my future husband sitting opposite him. The two of them had never met. I had just met my future husband. But I'm sitting in the most distracted home group I've ever been in. Sitting there looking at both of them. I was like, wait a minute, what is it about that guy? And I just couldn't nail it.
What's
Couldn't
a home group?
Huh? A home group. It's like a well, it's like what we're doing here.
Okay. Just like a
But
little party.
physically in a house, like a little Bible study or a gathering. Our home groups, there was always food involved.
Of course.
You know. Yeah, exactly, Fire Nate. Regular Bible study, but there was like see, we went to a really large church. At that time we were in a really large church, so it was a smaller subsection of the church. And my parents have always been in some type of leadership position at church. Deacon, trustee, whatever, board guy. They don't go after
Amazing.
official titles.
They're amazing.
They're cool. So I did. I broke up with him, and then 3 days later I met my husband. Didn't know he was going to be my husband. But let's see. That was in May. In July, we started dating. Same year. We started dating a couple months later. In July, we started dating. In August, same year, a month later, he asked me to marry him. And we were married by the March of the following year. Hadn't even been dating a year. It still makes my mother nervous. 27 years later, she still goes, "Don't talk about that. I can't think about that. Mom, we've been married 27 years. Something stuck." I mean, now it hasn't been all, sunshines and rainbows and, balloons and butterflies.
But what marriage is, honestly.
Exactly. It's
It is a lot of work. Yeah.
on both sides,
Mhm.
and because of the only other relationship I'd ever had with my ex, I was a manipulative little turd. I was horrible to my husband for the first many years of our marriage. I couldn't trust him. Um, he had to rebuild my trust. I would follow him places. I would randomly show up at his work. I would, just check in on him, always call in. And this is before cell phones. So stalking your significant other was a lot harder then. Um, now you just stick a tracker in their car.
And
And
now you just need the 360 app, and you're good to go.
yeah, you don't have to try nowadays. Back then it was work, and I would randomly show up at work and he was always there. He said I'll be home around 8:30. He was home around 8:30. And I don't know, we haven't really honestly sat down and point blank said, what was going through your head the first 5 years of of our marriage when I was a jerk? I've never straight up said that to him. Maybe I don't know. That might give me anxiety. But anyway, thankfully God worked that out in me, and
I'm blaming that on the kids.
There you go. Yeah, because those fired in rapid succession, just like the dating, engagement, marriage.
Too much noise, too much movement.
There you go. See?
Make you want a guy's
Too much tape. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, tape.
You don't have to go there.
You would want me to go there. That's funny. But several years into our marriage, I stopped being a manipulative little turd and learned to trust him more. And then in 2009, I had a horrible. No, let me rewind just a little bit. in 2009 also. Wait a minute, February of '09, I had a horrible car accident. Um, I was visiting my only nephew, um, blood related anyway. Um, Visiting my nephew. This was February of '09. He was born in the November before, so he was still a little munchkin. Um, my kids were all in elementary school at this point. I think my daughter was in 5th grade, I want to say. I have 3 babies, all inside of 3.5 years. So yes, we freight trained even the children. Um, I was 29 years old with 3 children. um, but anyhow, so I was leaving my mom's house, cutting through the back roads to go get the kids at pick them up at school, and I was also watching a friend of ours' daughter. I would pick her up and watch her for like half hour or whatever because her mom was a teacher at a different elementary school in the district. So I was driving there. I was stopped at a 4-way intersection on a major highway. Well, I say major; it's a 4-lane here. Um, I was stopped at the light, and then the light turned green. There was a car in front of me, and then myself, and then a car behind me. I was planning to go straight across at the traffic light. Well, some other woman who had another pressing matter further down the main highway to one end was a middle school, and on the other end was the high school. And she was trying to get from the middle school to the high school in the fastest way possible. And that, unfortunately, that fastest way possible turned out to be through my minivan. Um, Spun me around 180 degrees. I don't remember anything beyond the initial blur of seeing something coming through the intersection at a high speed. I don't remember anything. All I remember is that the blur itself was black in color. I don't remember anything beyond that. I do remember that there was a car, ironically the same color as my shirt, parked at the traffic light next to the blur. Um, so I knew that that other car was aware that his light was red. So the blur blew the stoplight, blew through her red light, hit the front driver's side headlight and put it in my glove box the hard way. I was told later on by the witness to the car accident, who happened to be the car that was behind me, that I went airborne. Um, I blacked out before impact, and I have to say, 150% no doubt that God knocked me out because He knew me. And He knew I would have just locked up, tensed up, and probably busted something worse or not have been around. Um, Through lots of investigation, we found out she was doing around 60 miles an hour on a rural 4-lane highway when she slammed into me. The witness who came forward on, of all days, April Fool's Day. My husband thought it was a joke. April Fool's Day is now one of my favorite, dates. But he asked my husband a couple questions to start. He said, "Listen, I'll answer any kind of questions you have, but you have to answer a few for me first." And it really stuck in my head. He said, "Number one, um, who are you in this car accident? Are you the black Explorer or the gray minivan?" And he said, "My wife was the gray minivan." And he said, okay, because if you had said you were the explorer, I was going to hang up. Whoa, well, okay. Meanwhile, my husband's got the phone on speaker. So he said, second question, is she okay? No, he said, is she dead? And my husband said, no, she's pretty bruised up. I had broken my shoulder blade. I am the finder of rare injuries, by the way. Yeah, they know. I see the two nods in agreement. They have experienced it. So in 2009, I broke my shoulder blade in a car accident and cut my head open. I still have the knot. It's weird. But I'm here. And then he proceeded to tell me that my van was airborne and he didn't expect me to survive. And he had said that they had a
Who was this that was making the phone call again? Who's on the phone again? With your husband?
Gentleman, turned out it was the guy that was behind me at the traffic light.
Okay.
So he had a literal front row seat to the whole adventure.
Okay.
They had put up posters.
Yeah, forgot that detail. We put up bright neon green posters at the advice of my lawyer because the officer at the scene charged me with the accident. Failure to yield to the signal. Even though my signal was green, it was just dumb. That eventually got thrown out.
But that's how he found you, and that's how he got in touch with you.
Yeah, so we ended up calling the lawyer because the girl that hit me called my husband's work and basically cussed him out on the work phone. And at the time he was a delivery driver for Papa John's Pizza. So she found the local store and she asked for my husband by name. She got him on the phone and proceeded to scream every cuss word in the book and then some, at least 4 times at him, and said, your wife said you have no insurance. I'm going to bury you. You're not going to have a toothpick to your name. I'm going to ruin you. She tried to kill me. All this horrible, horrible stuff. He didn't tell me this, of course, until later. Bless him.
Smart man.
That's very smart. Very, very smart man. But he did tell the lawyer. That's how I found out in front of the lawyer. And I just kind of sat there because he knew, I couldn't, how am I going to react? Best place to spring something on me.
Right.
So the lawyer said, all right, that's it. We're going to win this. So that's when he said, pull it, get some neon colored, like really bright, and use a fat black Sharpie marker. He said, I recommend that your first 2 lines be accident, question, and then the date and a phone number. And then put, did you witness? We need you. Something like that. Make it compelling. So we made, I want to say it was 8 signs because we faced them in every possible direction and every possible phone pole at that intersection. And that gentleman called on April 1st. And then my husband after he asked his questions, my husband said, okay, my first question for you, is this an April Fool's joke? And he goes, dear God, man, no. That's cool. But it turns out he was willing. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. He couldn't stay at the accident scene because he was picking his daughter up at the private school 3 doors down. And they had just had a traumatic family event. And had he missed his daughter, she probably would have gone unglued. So, for his daughter's sake, he said, I'm sorry for leaving the scene. I'm glad she's okay. But you got here's the, Well, he said, no. Family first, your thing. You gotta take care of your kids, whatever. So, We eventually won the lawsuit. Everything flipped around on her. Um, we got the van replaced. We had a friend in church actually give us their minivan. So we got a minivan for free. We God fixed all of that. I was in a sling for 8 weeks. That was a crap ton of fun. And I got a new personal barometer. So every time it rains, I can tell you. Um, you know. So then fast forward 6 months, and my husband gets woken. We get woken up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and to my husband's uncle. I want to say that's who it was. Honestly, I can't remember because it was 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, but screaming for Billy to get to my husband to get to the hospital. His older brother had been in a car accident. Um, this is 6 months after mine that should have, for all intents and purposes, killed me. That wreck killed my brother-in-law. It turns out that the woman, the girl, the 16-year-old child that killed my brother-in-law was high on NyQuil, alcohol, and some drugs. She had just like played with some kind of drug. I don't know what it was, but she didn't have much of it in her system. She was mostly NyQuil and alcohol. And she was evading police and evaded them right into the front of my brother-in-law's 86 Dodge Dakota pickup as he was leaving his engagement party where they announced the pending arrival of their first child. So it was a perfect little storm. It we had they had her, so there wasn't a hunt for his killer kind of thing. She wound up in jail. She spent 4 years in house arrest because my mother-in-law had mercy on her. I didn't understand that. I dealt with a lot of survivor's guilt. I hear it now. I've heard it called survivor's guilt. I wasn't in the truck with him. But my biggest question was, 6 months prior, God, I had a car accident and I'm here. Why am I here and he's dead? I'm not any better than he is. So I had that took a lot of dealing with. Why am I still here and he's not? Um, I finally had to just say, I finally had to put it down because I was literally driving myself nuts. You can't live like that. You can't raise. I had at that point, '09, a fifth grader, a third grader, and a first grader. So my kids were still little. I had to just funnel everything I had into them. I couldn't think about it anymore. I couldn't process it. We couldn't do the whole because then there was the trial, and then my mother-in-law went all mercy on her, and I just didn't get it. I stayed mad at that woman for years. She did get house arrest. She had her own demons she was fighting, obviously, to be,
Yeah.
jacked up on all the stuff she was jacked up on. My daughter has since found the girl. It's been, well, that was '09. It's been more years than I want to count because that's math. And
It's been
this
15
woman,
years.
okay, thank you. She's moved on with her life. She's doing good.
Good.
Thankfully, my brother-in-law didn't die for nothing. He shook her, and their encounter I can't say sobered her up because she did get into some trouble after. But from what I understand, she's flying straight now. She had to learn a few more hard lessons. She had to physically go to jail for some
Yeah.
like little shoplifting stuff and whatnot. But from what I understand, she's doing well now. I don't know the status of her soul. I told God that if that's somewhere He wanted me to go, I would. But if I have a choice in the matter, please send somebody else. I can't go there yet. It's not something. So I guess hopefully maybe I don't know. He sent somebody else. I don't know, but she's off my radar. Um, but fast forward life, which is, it feels like what happened. Somebody press fast forward, and and whoops, I just hit a button and I can't see me.
You're still here.
Oh no, I'm still here. Okay, I just can't see anything. I don't know how I switched screens.
I do. You touched the mouse pad.
Yeah, I did. I've switched from a PC, y'all, to a MacBook, and I have no clue what I'm doing. And it's really frustrating because I have a programmer's degree.
There's some amazing hand gestures on that mouse pad. Buckle up.
Oh,
Are you back? Can you see yourself now?
I can see myself now.
Okay. At least we have our own tech right here.
I know, right? He's our own Apple nerd. Anyway, so fast forward, I've always been kind of, I've always, I'm very thankful for the way I was raised and for what my adulthood has become. I spent almost 2 decades in the Boy Scouts with my boys. I'm a proud Eagle mom. My youngest, Hunter, is an Eagle Scout. You know, um, I'm about to have granddaughter number 6. Whew. But the last 3 years
Hey,
have
daughter number 6, no boys.
no boys yet.
Holy cow!
I'm looking at my son like, up to you to bring the boy because Caitlin's done.
You've got 2 boys that could possibly.
I've got 2 sons, so hopefully one of them will produce a male grandchild. My daughter, my poor daughter, they tried.
She's
They
done.
really tried. 5 babies. I pray for my son-in-law now every night. 6 women in that house. Whew. God bless him. But anyhow, yes, lots and lots of hormones in that house, Benson. Lots. I looked at him and I said, I have one word for you. And he's what? I said, overtime. It will provide you with the money to pay for the 5 girls. And it will get you away from the hormones.
It's called a vacation for manese.
Yeah. So anyhow, but we can't wait to meet her, little Miss Kennedy.
Yeah.
But
Kennedy.
the last 2 years we've had in Brainstorm has been quite a ride. I could have never in a bazillion years ever dreamed that a bunch of nerds hanging out in a chat room on another podcast that we would turn into the kind of group that we have. This is just, it's my second family. I tell God all the time, what did I do? What did I do? I got 2 really good families. How did I get that blessed? I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. Well, well, yeah, you got a point, Denise. Oof, did he hand you his nail gun? Ooh, that'll preach right there. But so thanks, loaded. The last, I would say, maybe a little less than a year. Um, it's been kind of an adventure. We've had a kind of challenging spot, the core of us here. And honestly, it sucked, but I wouldn't rewind for anything. I wouldn't change it for a thing. Um, God's also taught, I mean, I can speak for me. The stuff he's taught me in every area has blown my mind. Not just being awake. Yes, being awake helps. And kept me alive through COVID. That's actually what woke me up. Was COVID. Um, and then as I started learning about remdesivir, because I was in the hospital, I had the COVID pneumonia, and I was in the hospital on oxygen. But I went in, and I, another testament to my parents. I walked into that hospital saying I'm walking out in 5 days. Y'all can only have 5 days of my life. I'm done. This is all I have scheduled for this. I have to go to work. Life goes on. And they're like, "Do you not realize that this is killing people?" I said, that sucks, but it's not taking me out. You have 5 days to figure this out. I left 4 days later. But I learned about remdesivir and everything. And that kind of woke me up even more. I've never been a researcher. I'm a very visual learner, and I have to do. I still can't dig 2 years in, and there's the wires don't
You
click.
say that, but there was one night when we were in family chat. We were digging. It may have been biblical, but that was a dig.
All right, I'll give it to you. But here lately, in the last 6 months, maybe, I've been kind of going, all right, God, life's been cool. Some of it got a little bumpy, but this isn't why I'm on earth. Why? And I know we've all done that. Why? What? And I fully believe that for a while, the reason I was here had a lot to do with the Boy Scouts. With the boys I got a chance, and the families I got a chance to sow into, and their lives to be a part of. Some of them I'm still in touch with. One of my son's best friends met in first grade, and they went from Tiger Scout to Eagle Scout together, started and stopped together. I cannot replace that friendship for anything. I was friends with her mom. His mom was my assistant leader the whole way. Wonderful. Well, then when Boy Scouts ended, I was like, oh, and I started praying, God, I'm sick of the fake. I need real people. I had just ended a friendship with one of the scout leaders that it was very, very, very toxic. They were making fun of my children, and I wasn't smart enough to stop them, because I have always been a very shy little wallflower.
You used to be.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Working on it. Michigan helped a bit, but yeah. But that's one of the things we're working on. We're working the shy out. But I said, God, I need real relationships. And then there was the Trump rally. Wait a minute, that way. We've lived 35 minutes apart for 28 years and never knew it. But anyway, and we've been inseparable since. And then we've added the whole crew here. But I started saying, God, why did you get me involved in this? What are we doing? What's going on? And I said, get out of me whatever you need to get out. I had another, and then it dawned on me later after, how hindsight's 2020. After the event happens, you look back and you go, ooh, because I meant it, this is what happened. Just like when I got miserable enough with my ex-boyfriend and was tired of spinning my wheels with my ex-boyfriend, I said, God, I'm miserable. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. When I finally got to that point, he said, okay, then this. Well, there was one last little remnant of stuff that had stuck around for, 26, 27 years from my marriage with my bad girl. My relationship with my ex-boyfriend, that just really bothered me a lot. I just couldn't get rid of. It was, just something that I had struggled with and struggled and struggled. And I said, all right, I can fix this. I can fix this. I spent 27 years saying, I can fix this. I can fix it. I couldn't. I got to that spot again here 6 months or so ago. When I was like, God, there's gotta be more. I see all these people that are doing this, that, and the other thing for you, and here I am. I know you didn't save me from that car accident for me to do this. Have I finished what you needed me to do? And he said, will you shut up and listen? He's good at that. I said, okay, fine. Well, we were sitting in church one Sunday, and it's kind of funny because the barometer for the altar calls for me has always been is my heart beating out of my chest. Am I going to stop breathing any given second from now if I don't get up and move? That's how it's always been from since I was 5 years old on up through various Jesus moments in my life. My heart is always pounded out of my chest like the people next door to me could hear it, kind of slamming. Well, I was sitting in our church, and it was Palm Sunday, wasn't it, Lori?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Palm Sunday of this year. And I don't even remember what Pastor Kiki said, to be honest. And I just hear
I couldn't hear it because I watched it, but I couldn't hear it.
I don't remember what he said to start the altar call. Now, the kind of church we go to, y'all, is a non-denom bucket of awesome. It's completely God-led.
Bible-based.
Absolutely. Pastor Kiki is, he doesn't even like the pastor title, he's just, it's awesome. You guys will, I invite y'all to watch it on Facebook. We can put a link down if you want to see it.
We can put that in the link tree.
Yes.
All my links. I'll put that on all my links.
Okay. It's on Sundays on Facebook. At 10:30 Eastern. But it's just wonderful. But anyway, so I'm sitting in the chairs and I'm like, and then all of a sudden I hear, you said anything again What? You said anything. We're working on it, Benson. We're working on setting us up like Brainstorm set up.
Yeah.
But you should be able to watch it without having to log into Facebook because the page is public. I'm going to stop touching the mouse pad.
Yes, do that.
So I'm going to swipe us in a left field again. But he said, did you really mean it? You're not going to make me break up with Billy, are you? No. But you meant it. Are you miserable enough? What you talking about? He goes, you know what I'm talking about. And this is literally like a conversation I'd have with my dad, my earthly dad that I'm having with. This is legit the kind of, what would you, verbatim atmosphere? I don't know, whatever. And I said, yeah. All right, get up. What? I think I can count in the last 10 years on 1.5 hands how many altar calls I've been to. Maybe even one hand. Because it's a big deal when I go up. Because I just don't. That's a lot. That's a big jump out of my comfort zone. So I got up and I walked to the back of the church. And I grabbed my dad's hand. And my dad was on security at that point. I grabbed my dad's hand. And he just kind of looked at me funny. He goes, you all right? I said, yes, I need you. I guess dad told dad. Because he came up right behind me. And I went up and I stood up there and I said, all right, I'm here. You do it. I didn't know. I knew, but I wasn't completely sure why I was up there. I was just like a next level, do what you got to do. Whatever. I'm game. Took a lot of work. And my dad's standing behind me with his hands on my shoulders like this. And that right there was enough to turn me into a puddle of goo. My dad standing behind me praying for me. And then I realized, wait a minute, you're the one that got him up there. But Pastor Kiki comes over and he puts his hand on my head. And I just kind of stood there and I said, God, you're going to have to tell him. Because I'm not. I can't. And so God told him right there in church. And I went, whoa. I mean, I knew in the back of my head that he could do it, but to standing in front of me, he did it. And Pastor Kiki looked at me and named what I'd been struggling with for 27 years. And he said, you're here. It's gone. And like that, the proverbial weight lifted off your shoulders. Somebody took the local mall off my shoulders. It felt that I have I still can't describe it. But then it didn't end there. Now, I have always, my entire life, with the exception of Cub Scouts, because that's talking to a room full of kids. It's a big difference. I have always been behind the scenes. I operated the overhead projector at church. I was an extra on the drama team. I was the little tiny alto in the back row in choir, that just hid behind everybody. I was always in the background and I was fine with that. Until he said I wasn't going to be back there anymore. Because the other part of this prayer or word that Pastor Kiki was speaking over me after he told me that 27 years of me was gone, he said, I'm putting new stuff in its place. Uh-oh. Now y'all are frozen.
Nope, we're not.
I didn't touch the mouse pad this time. Devil, stop.
Huh.
All right, I'm going to keep talking because I can hear
Just
Lori,
keep talking.
even though everybody's frozen.
Yeah, you're good. I can hear you.
Okay. This is really creepy, though.
I have a feeling you're about to get into something important that they don't want you to share.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I had not said anything to Pastor Kiki about any of
All right, she'll be back. She'll be back. Somebody does not want that story to finish. I wonder who it might be. I've heard this.
Huh?
Go ahead.
I rebuke it. I rebuke it right now in Jesus' name. She will be able to finish the story.
She will.
What were you going to say?
She's back.
She back?
a lot smaller. I just closed the laptop. Now I can't see. No, I can't see the chat or anything. But anyhow, okay, so I hadn't said anything to Kiki. And he proceeded to tell me that I wasn't going to be in the background anymore. And that I've always been a behind the scenes kind of person and that he had different plans. And my dad's behind me at this point. My dad's behind me and he's just practically cheering. He's back there praying and praying and praying, but he's practically cheering and praying. And I just the whole time and doing the daddy thing on my shoulders, rubbing my shoulders and whatnot, and just being awesome. And it just absolutely floored me. And I started crying, which that's not me. I don't normally cry. It takes a lot to make me cry. Except when I see sappy. What?
That's where we're opposite.
Yes. But what you call it? So I keep losing my train of thought because I'm trying to open the MacBook again so that I can see the chat because it's driving me nuts that I can't. But
Don't
anyway,
worry about it.
I know.
Yes.
Yes, they are, Denise.
We got plenty of time. Take your time.
Yeah. But so he proceeded to say things like, you're going to be pulled out of the shadows. I was like, wait a minute, what? I didn't realize I was in them. I'm going to start teaching you things. Okay. Now I'm really nervous, God. But it just absolutely floored me. And then I remember that the funniest thing happened next. Then of course, Pastor Kiki finishes praying and he moves on. And one of the wonderful, sweet women in the church, I love her to pieces, Carol. Oh my gosh, she's like everybody's grandma. She's just amazing. Just such oh, she's so awesome. I love her to pieces. She's the kind of woman that never meets a stranger and loves you from day one. And she's just absolutely epically awesome.
Yeah.
Well, she was up there behind Daddy praying for me. And then Daddy, when Kiki stepped away, Daddy turned around and hugged me. And my dad is a giant teddy bear. He's not much taller than me, but it's the daddy hug. There's no way to describe it. But so I got the good old hug from Dad, and then Carol was standing right next to me, and she starts praying, and we start all of a sudden we both just started laughing. It was the weirdest thing ever. We just start laughing. And she looks at me and she goes, I don't know why we're laughing, but this is really neat. And we just stood there and laughed and hugged for like 5 minutes. It was absolutely hysterical. Felt longer than 5, but it was absolutely hysterical. But then she said, he's getting ready to blow your mind, Amy. And I spent the next, I don't know how long, saying, God, what did I do? It seems to be a recurring theme in my life. What did I do to deserve this? And I really hope I don't start whistling because the stuff on the computer's coming back up. So I apologize in advance for any weird noises that might emanate out of my machine. I really don't know what I'm doing. Um But since then, it has just, it's been really interesting. It's been an odd little adventure. I got on to do the Thursday reading the coming on camera. Can't believe I was on camera. Can't believe I'm on camera. It's just weird. I never, ever, ever, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, not even that, a year ago, Amy, you're going to be on camera, I would have been like, no. Nope. They all remember from July. I was like, nope, I'm good behind. I'm good behind the camera, guys. It's okay. I'm all right. You know. Um but
I have a word for you, Amy.
uh-oh. Oh, Loden.
I don't do this very often, especially not on camera. The reason God gave you the laughter is because the joy of the Lord is your strength. And He was strengthening you that day.
Mm.
Was that before or shortly after the brainstorm storm?
Shortly after, I'd say about 3 months. It was Palm Sunday. It was Palm Sunday because I got to say the funny. I don't know. I don't know if funny is a good word, but because his timing's perfect. Um, Easter's always been my favorite holiday. My youngest. Uh-oh, I got the camera back up now. I can see me. I'm going to pop the chat out and then just minimize the other one. Thank you, Denise. All right, there we go. Yeah, Easter. My youngest, my eagle, my hunter, was born with sleep seizures, and was born with seizures, and we didn't know why. We spent the first 8 weeks of his life basically in different hospitals trying to figure out what he was doing, what was going on with him. I think this is, looking back now, may have been the beginning of my medical awakening. He was misdiagnosed with epilepsy at 4 weeks old. Put on phenobarbital right away to stop the seizures. Except the kicker was they didn't stop the seizures.
Mm-hmm.
He was having full-on grand mal seizures at 6 weeks old. And this is my third baby, so it's literally not my first rodeo. So we eventually, with him, we wound up at a children's hospital, the next town up, and it's funny because I can remember myself saying, and oddly enough, wherein now I go, it wasn't odd, it was God. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shirt.
The top pediatric neurologist of that time frame just happened to be based at the hospital that we were at when my 8-week-old son was admitted for seizures. And we got to meet that wonderful man. And we spent 2 nights in the hospital with all kinds of wires and probes and everything. And the last day we were in the hospital, the doctor comes in. Coincidentally, 5 minutes after my husband had gotten to the hospital to see how we were before he went to work. And said, we're changing your son's diagnosis. He does not have epilepsy. I didn't know. Remember my bubble? I didn't know what epilepsy was. I just knew it made people shake. The only memory I have of epilepsy was when I was in a church when I was probably between 7 and 10 years old. A lady in our church, when I was growing up, actually fell out of her chair having a grand mal seizure. And I can remember my dad kneeling down in front of her, holding her head, and they put a pen in her mouth.
Which they don't do anymore.
Right. This will tell you how old I am.
Yeah.
But they put a pen in her mouth and he was holding her head.
Yeah.
And later on, I can remember asking him, Daddy, why were you holding her head? Why'd you put a pen in her mouth? And he said, so she didn't bite her tongue because of the strength that she was seizing. And I said, why was she seizing? Oh, normal 7 to 10-year-old questions. And he said it was epilepsy. So then when my own son gets diagnosed with epilepsy, I don't know what to do with myself. Well, they changed the diagnosis at 8 weeks to something with a really, really long name. that took me about 2 weeks to learn how to say. They took him off the phenobarbital. And they told me that the best part about it was that they would go away. He would grow out of them. So on Easter Sunday, 2002, was Hunter's last seizure. He's 22 now, and we have never worried about another, never had any concern. He's had high temperatures through his childhood growing up, never had another seizure. He's never had another spell at all, ever. That was Easter Sunday, 2002. My first son was born on Easter Sunday in 2000. So Easter's a pretty cool holiday for me. And then this little adventure this year. And I gotta say, it has been quite a wild ride since Easter. And now my phone's dying. Devil? Hang on, the charger's here somewhere.
I'd give you mine, but I don't think it'd go through the screen.
It might not reach.
We're not that close.
But it's been interesting because I've never, like I said before, I've never seen myself getting in front of the camera, and I mean, there you are, I am. But even when we went to Michigan was big for me in my shy. Hang on. Oh, that's better. It kind of knocked me out of my shell a good bit.
Especially when Jimmy told you put down the camera and get in the picture.
Yeah, that was a little, that was wild, because it was funny because it made me like, hey, wait a minute. And I was honestly just doing me.
Yeah.
I wasn't, I was I was walking around I was so excited that I finally figured out that stupid gimbal thing, the tripod thing that I had. Good Lord, I spent half the weekend trying to figure that stupid thing out.
You did.
It was so frustrating. But I finally figured it out, and like 3 hours of the conference left to go. So I was just so excited that I had figured it out. I'm sitting there taking a picture of everybody getting in a picture with General Flynn, and I'm just like, holy cow, I'm watching my friends. We're in a picture. I'm just fangirling like crazy. It was so stupid. And then Jimmy's like, hey, get over here. Like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I could get in that picture. It just never dawned on me. But it was hysterical. We had an absolute blast. Mary is to just walk up to people. And that's another thing that sets us, love Mary. She's a mess. That sets this family apart. And then our extended it's funny because you got your birth family and then your aunts and uncles and that extended family. And I feel like we have our family here. These guys, y'all here in the chat, that are Brainstorm fam. But then the group that we went and hung out with at Michigan, Mary and Scott and his Mary and Patty. Okay. The other Mary. There were two Marys, as I remember.
Yes, there were two Marys.
Polar opposite of each other, y'all. Polar opposites. But both awesome.
Amazing people. Yeah.
Their daughter, whose sushi was eaten by General Flynn.
That's right.
I don't think she minded.
Not at all.
Aw. But and that extended family, it's an amazing atmosphere. It's just y'all gotta come see us. Night, Wendy. Thank you. Um, North Carolina.
Yep.
If you're in the area, you guys gotta come say hi.
October
Um,
18th and 19th.
it's amazing. I don't know, and that's another thing. I don't know how I'm getting there.
God knows.
God does. And this is a crazy, huge, really big. It's like petting the cat backwards. Just having to sit back because my very nature is to figure it out. And this is really hard for me to sit back because my bosses have a conference out of the country that they are required to go to, and they won't be even in the country on the Thursday before the conference. The Thursday or the Friday, they won't get back until like late Friday night. So she's unofficially told me I can't go.
Mm.
But I was in her room, in her office the other day, and she still has my vacation request form on her desk. So it's not thrown away. But I said, God, if you really started this, and this is something I'm supposed to be doing, you're going to figure out a way to do it. And he said, okay. So get out of my way. Here we go again. Fine. That means, Amy, stop trying to figure it out. Don't you sit there at your desk every day and want to ask Cindy if she'll work alone. Stop trying to figure it out. I got this.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm
Denise.
trying.
Isn't it weird how things just fall in our lap recently?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, Aim.
It will. Because trying to mail that setup, that studio set, that's not getting mailed.
Yeah, and I've gotten so much equipment as well since then. So yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, I thought my battery was dying. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna we gonna be fancy in North Carolina. I'm excited to see it. I can't wait to watch it. We're gonna have to do a setup video and all that so y'all can see. We'll go live. I'm sure we'll go live.
Yeah,
Yes,
hopefully
we have
the
to.
internet's better. If not, we will definitely record.
Yeah.
That's
well,
right. That's why we didn't, isn't it? Because the
Yeah.
internet was so bad.
I couldn't even
Mm.
post on Telegram. It was so.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Fire. It's the Reawaken America tour's finale of the finale.
Supposedly.
According to them, Detroit was the last one, but then they added this one. So we're just going to keep
according
going
to them,
the
Las
finales.
Vegas was the last one.
Yeah. We're just going to keep going to the finales.
That's right.
But it's an absolute blast. There was a lot of good speakers. I got to see my childhood fangirling again. The whole stinking weekend was fangirling.
You'll never guess who it is either. Never guess.
Nope. Nobody
No
will
one
never,
political.
ever in a billion years figure it out. I think I even surprised them. But it was Darryl Strawberry from the New York Mets, the 1988 championship team. No, Amy Grant, that would have been cool though, Denise. She was one of, I had all her albums growing up. But Darryl Strawberry from the 1988 championship New York Mets baseball team. I still have the video. It was Fryer.
Yes, you do.
Fryer sat there and watched me fangirl the entire time Darryl Strawberry was on the stage. It was great.
That's funny.
He may have, Denise. He
I
fell
think
off
he might
my
have.
radar when he left the
I think he
Mets.
played for the Yankees as well. Yeah, he played for a few after he left the Mets.
But goodness, that man is on fire for God now. It's awesome. Yeah.
As well as Muhammad Ali's nephew.
Yep.
We got to meet him.
Yeah. It was a very cool weekend. Very cool weekend. You know, some people are taller than I thought they would be, Jimmy. Some people are a lot shorter than I thought they would be, Heidi. But I'm telling you, she's 8 foot tall with her energy.
She is. Yeah. Her personality.
Yeah. You know.
I think I loved the speakers and I loved meeting the people and everything. But honestly, I think for me, my favorite part was being with the other group. The Mary and 8-Track and Enoch and just everybody. That was my
the other
favorite part.
Patriots.
It was
The
my
other
favorite
usses.
part, being with everybody else. I loved the other stuff too. I loved the conference. I loved listening to everybody. I loved listening to Nane. I loved introducing you two to to Bo Pony.
Yeah, it was fun.
just like I knew him or whatever. But yeah, that was my favorite part. That just being together.
I was caught off guard walking through the crowd of the speakers and being called out by name by someone that watches the show. I was like, well, what?
That was cool.
Remember that?
Oh, right.
The look on my face was like, who are you? Oh, you watch? No way. No way.
Yeah, it was funny because we now have a running gag that when we bump into each other at these events, we're like, "Are you Lori? Are you Lori from Brainstorm?" So every morning when we'd see each other, are you Jimmy from Brainstorm? Are you Stormy from Brainstorm? It was great. It was funny, But somebody did that in real life. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Flynn is very charismatic and very reserved.
He's awesome.
He's very normal.
I think he's normal too.
Yeah, he's quite normal.
I mean, just like going up and eating the sushi.
Yeah.
Like he didn't feel. I didn't feel like he thought of himself as any better than we were.
No.
Just, I don't know, really, him and his son both, just amazing people.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was embarrassed that everyone was sitting there watching him bowl. He's like, why? His body language, like, why is everyone watching me? Why aren't you partaking in the bowling?
Because I'm not putting those shoes on, General.
Because you're the general.
He's very reserved.
Yeah.
Which is probably military ease, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he said hi to us, right, Fryer?
He got it on video.
Looked right at us. We looked right at us and said hi. It was awesome. We're fancy.
Yeah, fancy.
We're fancy.
That word got used a lot too, didn't it?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything come out with Flynn Jr. and Scott on their stuff that's coming out, but if we happen to see it, we'll share it for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Well, you guys hang on for the ride because there's a lot of stuff in store for Brainstorm, and God's gonna do some pretty mind-blowing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
And
like, I don't know. I feel like just the stuff he's been doing with the draft,
mhm.
that's been the most fun thing that I've ever watched on a podcast in my life.
Yeah.
And I've watched a lot of podcasts, but that's been the most fun. It came out of your brain, you know?
Yeah, you'll
So,
be shocked on how long I've said on that, and it's just weird how the timing is almost.
oh, the timing was
If those two podcasts were to catch wind,
yeah.
I think it could be phenomenal. And
Yeah.
I've thought about doing a podcast since the first of the year, doing a draft since the first of the year, but
That was perfect timing.
perfect.
Mhm.
With all the videos coming out that Biden needs replaced, and Ingersoll Lockwood dropping the psalm that Trump's
Yeah.
making history with JFK with Junior by his
With
side.
Junior.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys saw that on Telegram yet, but made my heart go pitter pat.
I'm sure it did. As soon as I heard it, I thought, "Oh, Stormy's going nuts over
And it's not
there."
at the beginning of the song. It's at
No,
like a
kind of in the middle.
minute in. Then the Supreme Court rulings this past 4 or 5 days. It's very possible that regulations are gone. Very possible if Congress doesn't do their job, they are removed. We've talked about the benevolent monarchy to replace what the current state is. I mean, a lot of stuff we've talked about that, I think we've been wrong on a few things, but
It was like
maybe
the very next day after the first, was it the first one? I'm like, in our chat, I'm like, did somebody say this? Is somebody going to already have a point or points?
Yeah.
And then when we did the second one with Denise and Jen, I'm like, wait, who said this?
aliens. Yeah. There was the
Aliens.
word 3 suns at night.
And
or
the
something.
drones thing too.
Yeah, Denise's
The
pick one
little
of the drones.
drones.
Yeah.
You said little drones. I was like, what the heck? This is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. It's been so much fun. And I know that there's so much more to come.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
we don't even know. Like, we have no clue what's coming next, but it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I got a video to share.
You
real
got a
quick.
video?
Got a video.
Let's see it.
This was one I've been holding on for probably 3 years. I know that there's multiple verses of the national anthem, but the way this one is put together, it is absolutely mind blowing. I for some reason I clicked on this inside my hard drive, and I think it's definitely worth sharing. If I can find it, here we go. I think this is it. Yeah.
Lewis. One question was raised about how we teach our young people, and I'm a former Marine, and I became aware that there are 2 verses, and we need to hear the second verse, which says, "Oh, thus be it ever, when free men shall stand between their loved homes and the war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven rescued land praise the power that has made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must when our cause is
Wow.
I don't know what made me click on that tonight to share, but it's blowing up on X right now.
Awesome.
I think there's actually 4 verses, but yeah, that verse is definitely possibly written for today,
Yeah.
like Loden said.
Yeah.
I had it in the browser that shut itself down, but I had a YouTube of all 4 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Good old technical stuff.
Always the right timing, right, Colleen? I mean, Colleen's been watching Brainstorm since day one. There's many times it was just me, Colleen, and Honeybee watching a documentary. Lori was over on Alphabet doing something, and Amy was, yeah, Colleen's been one of the ones that's sat and commented on, Twitch before we got banned off Twitch. We was only doing lives on Twitch, and
I remember that.
nights I was by myself just sharing documentaries, afraid to put my face on camera like Amy was talking about tonight. It's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, I'm sure Denise and Jen know. Get a little bit of butterflies in your belly. So even being able to come on and tell your testimony, which is even more difficult because it's personal. So, oh yeah, we were banned on Twitch. We had 500 followers, closing on 600, and we did a show about.
Be careful, we're on Twitch.
We are. Crap. But we did a show on.
You did a show on Mary Kate Ultra.
Yep. Thank
and the Mickey thing.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a minute.
Speaking code. Don't want us to get in this quickly.
Good old Twitch days.
Good old Twitch days, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We did a lot of conspiracy deep hole diving.
Honestly, I think that's what did it more than the other, because I know how they are. I've done videos on YouTube for years and years and years, and that was one thing that you couldn't show anything.
Yeah,
that you couldn't do it at all, or your video would be taken down immediately.
Yeah, we went hard in the paint on that stuff, especially with Britney Spears and some of the kids that we think that were really messed up back in the day. That, as you can see, the shaved head girls, and but we did a show. We did a show on who I thought was 17. You remember that one?
Yeah.
I thought that would have been the one, because I feel like I'm pretty close, because it's linked to being able to see the future, but I connected it to being able to read the ether, right? It's interesting now that you're seeing a lot of stuff come out about, all of the quantum mechanics is including the ether, and sound waves never really dissipate. So how easy would it be to go back in history and hear something, let alone, the future is already predicted per se. So is that sound in the ether? I don't know. I wish I could. I don't know if I still have that episode. I wish I did. I don't think I do. But I'd love to have that one back, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be good.
Lyrics are in TG.
Oh, thank you. Well,
Do you have anything else, Amy, or do we need to pray and play your
Uh,
song on the outro?
I am good. I'm trying to.
She's teching.
Now, well, my phone is about to go dead, and I don't want to just vanish.
Oh,
So
you're good.
No, we don't want you to vanish.
No.
So I'll say a prayer and we'll play your song on the outro. And
Since the 4th of July is Thursday, I'll definitely do a show tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens Thursday night.
okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
Because 4th of July is one of my favorite holidays. And I might have a whole garage full of fireworks to scare the horses and animals around me. So, including my poor puppy. We'll see.
Oh. Get him a thunder shirt, a thunder vest.
Yeah, we got one.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. Father, we thank you. We thank you so much for this day. We thank you for all of the wonderful people that you've placed in our lives. We thank you for Amy's amazing, amazing testimony. We give you all the glory for all that you do in our lives. We ask you to continue to be with those on our prayer list and be with those that haven't asked for prayer but need prayer, Father. We pray for our leaders. We pray for our nation. We pray for the children. But most of all, we just thank you. We know that you're working every single day, every single moment of our life. We give you all the glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. So tomorrow night, I'm going to try and go over the Supreme Court rulings and maybe even catch up on some news. You guys good with that?
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll be in the background.
Uh-huh.
I might need your legalese help tomorrow. You never know. Because reading those Supreme Court rulings are brutal.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they get away with so much, because
Right?
reading
you can't
legalese.
understand what.
No. But I have a gut feeling.
Oh, I've got a good idea. I'll tell you later, but I got a good idea.
I got a gut feeling, and we'll see what happens. But
this is for you, Aim.
love your brains, love your butts, love your
Love
heart.
your hearts.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Half
Yes.
of one.
Peace.
Boosh.
Target on my back, lone survivor last. They got me in the sights. No surrender, no trigger, fingers go. Living the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, you're making me strong, you're making me stand. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium fight song, raising up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm